Hi everyone, and welcome to Hope, hearing other people's experiences. Now, I want to talk about a very difficult subject, which is addiction. And when I was getting well, it was very important for me to hear other people's experience of transforming their lives and getting into recovery. And the most useful method I found to work through everything was when I picked up my paintbrush. So I'm going to show you a few of my paintings, and each week I will have someone on whose experience has inspired me. But this week is all about me. So come and have a look at my paintings. So this one here, I think we all know who the guy is. That's the devil. And he is holding on to me when I'm just a dead body, basically. It's a big, big piece. I used very vibrant colors because I wanted to make people go, you know, and I've got black eyes there because that's how it feels when you're not very well. Also, it's oil, and oil paint takes forever to dry. So it took me several months, this one. And yeah, I'd say it's probably one of my favorites. Next. Aha, so this one is called Melty Girl. And I did this at a time when I felt like all of the protection I'd put around myself through my actions when I was drinking and using. I was sober when I did this and the previous one. It made all the crap melt away. And my face looks very in pain because losing all of your defense mechanisms is very, very uncomfortable. And this one is acrylic, and yeah, I really love it. Can I see the next one, please? This one is, okay, this is my favorite. I feel bad saying that because they're like my children, but this one was done in lockdown, actually, in 2020. It was the first canvas I ever did, and it's called Hole in the Soul. And the reason why it's me in the picture. I've got my hands like this because I just didn't know what the heck to do with myself. I was so lost, and I knew that I didn't want to drink anymore, but I didn't know if I wanted to be alive anymore. It was either be drunk or not be alive. And so that is that pain that I was feeling at that point. And the swirly bits in the middle are just about like all the different directions I could go in. I was very confused. And with a lot of my work, it's very emotional. And it actually makes me emotional looking at this stuff because, you know, I've had a few years now in recovery. And this is, it's beautiful, but it's a stark reminder of that feeling. So, yeah, emotional, that one. Can I see the next? Aha, so this one, I actually did this just the other day. So this is called Invisible Guidance is Available. And it means that whenever I feel lost or frustrated or it feels like life is spinning out of control, I know that invisible guidance is always available to me. And so these are two of my imaginary, guardian angels. I don't know what my actual spiritual team looks like, but I do believe in all that stuff. And I use the vibrant colors because that's how it makes me feel when I remember that I'm not alone and I have these guides and spirits around me helping me out. So can I see the next one? Aha. Well, I wonder who can guess what this is about. So this one, unsurprisingly, was done sort of around the time when I couldn't really stay sober to save my life. So I knew that I was an alcoholic, but I also wasn't really ready to fully admit it to myself and others. So yeah, this was me trying to process a very dark chapter of my life. This is called Working Girl, and it's a screen print that I made in about, I think it was 2020, 2019. And obviously that's a pair of legs. They're not my legs, but yeah, they look a bit like my legs. And she's got 100 quid stashed between her thighs, because that is where addiction can take you. That is where you lose all your morals, you lose all your boundaries, and yeah, you're basically, you know, fucked. Next. Can I see the next one, please? Ah, yes, I really like this one. This one's called Love Bombed, and I did it recently, actually. I was trying a few new techniques with a squeegee, you know, that you clean like a car windshield with. So that's what the background is, just all that mushing together. And it's called Love Bombed because I realized that recently I was love bombed. When somebody is not really available emotionally to be in a relationship and they do the love bombing phase at first, I think it's called a narcissist. And yeah, so that's when everything's perfect. And as you can see, the eyes are all swirly and hypnotized because that's what they will make you feel like. And you're crawling around and you're forgetting all about your own needs and wants. But then I realized that I was codependent, so I'm quite grateful for this. Can I see the next one, please? Oh, yes. So this one, yeah, this one was from a time when I knew that I had an addiction, but I also couldn't stop. And usually what happens is that misery loves company. And so I found a man who also liked to do what I like to do. And the gun symbolizes that, you know, I didn't really care whether either of us lived or died, which is really dark. And it's, you know, now we're both in different places, but we're in good places. And I decided to use gold because, and also the outside is kind of like, I don't know, it's very textured and it's quite dark because that's basically meant to symbolize his kitchen where we spent hours until the sunlight doing drugs. And yeah, it was just a very dark time, but he was always golden to me because, you know, he was fit. Next. Ah, okay. Well, this one's a little bit mysterious, not. So this one is actually giving me a visceral reaction right now. This was about a time where I had literally lost the plot. I had lost all boundaries, all morals, everything. And I would end up at this particular man's house who is, I see him as the devil. And in his pocket there, he has some magic potion. And that's me at the bottom crawling around. And as you can see, my eyes are green because I've ingested quite a lot of this magic potion. And then there's all the demonic forces that are around when we open ourselves up to receiving bad energy, and doing drugs and drinking is a great way to do that. Also, his little pig friends are there amongst all the horrible lost souls and demons, because this man would actually sell me to people. And I was so caught up with my addiction that it never crossed my mind. And that is what I'm talking about here. It's serious. So yeah, it's very emotional, that one, but it's also a really good reminder of what I never want to go back to. Next. This is the addiction banshee, and she is on my shoulder quite often, especially when I first got sober. This was when I was really newly sober, and it was like she was sitting on my shoulder saying, have a drink all day, have a drink, have a line, nobody will know. I would know. And that's the problem, because addiction wants you dead, but it will settle for you unwell. And so this was on a canvas, it was acrylic. And yeah, I just wanted to try and personify in a way this horrible force that I felt was around me all the time. But I'm happy to say that for the last 4 years, three and a half at least, she's very, very quiet. And so I'm grateful. Next. This one, as you can see, is a bit mental. It was surprisingly done while sober, but this is all jumbled up. I don't know what I even would call it, but I'm actually about to make a massive version of this for my next exhibition. And it's just kind of like when you first get well, or you're trying to get well and you can't, and you don't know where to put yourself. You're in pieces and you're trying to put yourself back together, but it's just not happening. And the hair, I don't know, I think I was watching The Ring at the time. I have no idea. But yeah, that one is just me having fun with my printer. Okay, next. Now this is a lovely one. This makes me happy. This is the Recovery Fairy. And she is the one that's on my shoulder now, mainly, not the addiction one, her. And she always guides me to creative solutions that are of the highest good for all. I didn't know about praying, I didn't know about meditating, I didn't know about anything like that. I thought it was for hippies or people who were stupid. But then I realized I was the stupid one because I turned my nose up at that stuff. And I just listened to the intuition given to me through prayer and meditation. And I like to think that the Recovery Fairy is always with me, along with all of the rest of them. And yeah, I based her on a friend of mine who's really, really beautiful and lovely. She has a good spirit, so she was perfect. And it's a square canvas, and yeah, magical, and I love it. Next. This is Angel Auditorium. So like I was saying before, the spiritual side of things, I feel like we each have a team of angels, spirit guides, family members who have passed. And I think that they're always, conspiring to help if you do your bit of doing the next right thing. So when I'm out of alignment with what the team wants, I will be miserable, I will be impatient, I will be frustrated, I'll just generally be a bitch. So this is always available to me, and I have used all my friends really, so that's my beautiful friend Christella at the top. Then the two blondes are the same girl, that's Ella, and the two kids are me on the left, and my little friend Charlotte, who I've known since I was 2.5. And I just love looking up at the clouds. I'm obsessed. They're actually surprisingly hard to paint. So it's acrylic, and as ever, I use a lot of neon because I can. Next. Oh, Aaron. So this is Aaron Carter. And for those of you who don't know Aaron Carter and are surprised that I do, he is the little brother of Nick Carter from the Backstreet Boys. And I didn't really know much of him. I was aware of him throughout my life, but when he died, it kept coming up in my feed on social media, and I just couldn't believe what I was reading. It broke my heart. That boy was trolled to death and exploited all of his life. And so he has a hole in his soul. But I like to feel that now that he is at peace, that's filled. And yeah, just such a waste of a talented person. So very sad, but I wanted to honor him. And I've given him the gold because he deserves it. Next.
Okay, that's about your 15 minutes.
Thank you. Oh, I love this one. This one is In the Arms of an Angel. And so this is the same size as the devil one where he's holding me. It's me again, but this time I've made it out of the swamp, or as we call in recovery, the messy bog, the nastiness of addiction. And I'm being airlifted by I think it's probably Archangel Michael, but it could be any of them, to be honest. And this one is oil paint. So again, had a lot of patience for this one, had to wait for layers to dry, and it just was not my bag whatsoever. Can't believe I just said my bag. Anyway, yeah, so he's lifting me out of the rubbish and off to better things. And I chose to use gold as ever, because gold is for me, it's a very powerful color. It's a very positive color. And so, but as you can see, I'm starting to have a bit of flesh color coming back into me because it's draining off below. So this one's 36 inches by 48 inches oil paint. And yeah, this one makes me happy. Next. Oh my goodness, here we go. So this is a snapshot of the height of addiction. Again, as you can see, we have one of our pig demons, and he has all manner of poisonous substances on the table there. And yes, it's based on an actual person, but I will never tell, but some of you know. And so obviously we're surrounded by demonic forces, evil entities, because that's what happens. And the girls are all under the influence of both or some of these drugs. Green is representing Coke. So I'm completely green because that's all I wanted. And the pig demon knew that if he plied me with enough Coke, I would literally do anything. I would do anything before I'd had any to ensure that I had some. That is a very dark memory, and painting it did actually give me some relief. It's not as skilled as my other paintings because it was one of my first. And it was really cathartic to actually, finally get this stuff out of my head and onto a page, because I tried writing, but I don't really have the best way with words. So yeah, it was a really good outlet, and I would encourage anyone that's suffering with anything like bad memories or in the early stages of sobriety to really try and just find your creative outlet, because that stuff has to come out eventually. Yeah, so I don't speak to Pig Demon anymore. Next. Oh, it's me and my granddad. So this is Granddad and me in 1989. Yes, I really am that old. It was when he was in Panto, I think, or just he was rehearsing for Panto. That's why he's got a tan. And he's on that beautiful Laura Ashley sofa that my parents had. Oh. No, sorry, Mum, it's beautiful, really, tasteful. And yeah, look, I'm just as cute as ever, really, aren't I? And modest. So yeah, he was a very special guy, and during addiction, I let him down quite a lot. But I like to think that he's with me now and he sees that, finally she's got her shit together-ish. Next. This one, I like this. This is Victoria's Secret Angel of Death. And so when I was growing up, there weren't any sort of role models of women that were curvaceous. And if there were, like, the ones that we had were a novelty or a joke. So we'd have people like, Sophie Dahl, but she would be a novelty. Like, isn't she lucky that, they let her on that catwalk? But really, all of us girls, like, growing up in the 90s and noughties, it was heroin chic. It was skin and bone with plastic boobs. And so, yeah, this is one of the Victoria's Secret Angels of Death, because that is a standard to which, most girls can't reach. These girls are incredibly thin and they have extensions on them. And yeah, I feel like there's definitely been a lot of progress in that regard. But yeah, sometimes it can go too much in the other way. So it's A3 in size, or I think it might be 12 by 16. And I surrounded her with the neon because, it's red, it's like blood. And I think this poor girl was very hungry. Next. This is Archangel Jophiel. And Archangel Jophiel is in charge of beauty, creatives, and artists. So whenever I start a new painting, I asked Jophiel to be there with me and help me out. again, like experimenting with new techniques. I really like the work of certain other, well, I like the work of abstract artists, but I also like figurative. So I really, yeah, I really enjoyed making this, and I'm so grateful that I have the time and space to, you know, make mistakes and do it 100 times until I like it. And if nobody else likes it, that's also fine. But it would be nice. Next. This is another Victoria's Secret Angel of Death. Yeah, so pretty much the same story as last time. These girls come in all colors of hair and skin, but not body type. Not body type. All the same. And so image after image after image for me and my friends when we were teenagers, it does go in. And there was an epidemic of eating disorders in my class. And I'm not actually surprised at all, because none of us are ever going to be 5'10". Well, I'm not. I'm 5'5" on a good day. And, you know, if you're that skinny, you usually don't have boobs. I start miles beneath the surface. Next. Oh, Pamela. I love Pamela Anderson so much. So she was, again, one of the images that I saw when I was growing up, but I judged her. And I try not to do that anymore because people judge me and I don't like it. So I watched the documentary about her, and oh my God, she is such a beautiful soul. And so I remember there was a part of the documentary where Tommy Lee was filming her, and he zooms in on her face, and he's like, "Wow, baby, you're so beautiful." Or, "Yeah, sorry about my shit accent," but it was so moving. Like, it brought me to tears, because it was like he was really seeing her. And so I had to keep pausing it to get to the right place so I could get this. And I feel like she suits daisies. So the frame that I displayed this in is covered in daisies. And I put a couple of daisies there in front of her face, because I think she's just a beautiful petal. Next. I wonder what this could be. So this is a moment from Fawlty Towers, and that is my darling granddad, Andrew Sachs as Manuel. And this is one of the special moments where, you know, Basil takes matters into his own hands, I suppose, and picks up Manuel and puts him in front of a window. Now, there aren't many images of this that exist, and the ones that do are clearly posed and shot after the fact. So I compiled a load of the images from the episode, like within a sort of 1-2 second time frame, and I pieced it together and came up with this. And then the colors I've chosen are just to accentuate the hilarity and the fun of the whole situation. It's absurd and hilarious, and yeah, they don't make them like that anymore. Next. This one is just basically me showing my appreciation for the female form. So a lot of my pictures are like that. I'm not that way inclined. Tried it, not for me. But I still find the female form absolutely stunning and fascinating, actually. So this is my friend. She's on my social media. She calls herself the Dippy Hippie. And I wanted to try and do something where I blocked out her shape, and then I just chucked a load of paint on top, and then I pulled it off and painted her in with all the bronze and the gold and everything, because I call it Tipsy Beach, because it looks like, you know, you might feel like you're pissed when you're looking at this. A lot of my work I would describe as beer goggles, which is ironic because I don't drink. But it's all of the nice bits that I still remember. Everything is sort of vibrant and a bit blurry and a bit weird. So yeah, that's why I did that. Next. Oh, this one. So this is like a sort of fairy tale wonderland. And each of the images within the image are images of mine that I've done before. So we've got the silhouette of a mermaid. So we've got this one here. This is the last one I'll be showing you today. This is a little fairy tale fantasy land of mine. All of the pictures that are within the picture are works that I've done previous. So we've got some angels, we got some fairies, and we got a lot of mermaids. This one's quite big actually. It's 36 by 48 inches. And yeah, I really like it. And I think this was done sober. And I think that it's not good to disappear into fantasy land all the time. But if I'm dealing with a really difficult situation, I will disappear into fantasy land and think about mermaids and fairies, and it cheers me up. So that's not for everyone. But yeah, so thank you so much for staying this long and looking at my work. It's a really good way of me introducing this podcast. And I really hope that you gain a lot of clarity and help from meeting the people that helped me along the way. So until next time.